Gerson Santos da Silva. Gerson Santos da Silva, better known as Gerson, Belford Roxo, May 20, 1997, is a Brazilian footballer who plays as a midfielder. He currently plays for Flamengo. Career, home. Born in Belford Roxo, Gerson started training with his father in a small field near his home and, at the age of 7, was invited to try out for Flamengo, the club he supported in his childhood. It was approved, but due to the fact that his father, Marcos Antonio, works at the Federal Revenue Service and cannot take his son to the school, and Flamengo still refused to help with the cost of transport, Gerson cannot play for the club. Fluminense. Basis. Fluminense showed interest in the player and was willing to pay for the tickets. At Fluminense, Gerson started as a futsal player at the age of 7, until he turned professional. Even before making his debut for the main team, he was constantly summoned by coach Alexander Gallo to play for the Brazilian under-20 team, playing with the number 10 shirt. He became champion of the international tournament of Valencia, in Spain. Treated like a jewel by the club, he even aroused the interest of the Italian Juventus, who would be willing to pay €10 million. Professional. In 2014, he was entered by Fluminense in the Copa Sudamericana, participating in training among professionals, but did not enter the field. At the age of 17, he debuted as a starter on the professional team, playing at the back, as a second midfielder, in the victory over Resende, on March 2, 2015, in a match valid for the 2015 Carioca Championship. Rome team. After having agreed with Barcelona, Roma offered a greater value than what had been offered by Barca, around €16 million, and ended up agreeing with the Italian team. After the withdrawal from the Spanish club, Gerson transferred to Roma in January 2016. With that, Tricolor das Laranjeiras had to return to Barcelona the amount paid for Gerson's purchase priority. Loan to Fluminense. On January 28, 2016, with no room for extra EU players in its squad, the Italian team signed a 6-month loan to Fluminense. In the debut of coach Javier Culpi, he scored his first 2 goals for the club in the victory against Criciúma, which earned a place in the semi-finals of the First League Cup. Fiorentina. On July 20, 2018, he was loaned for a season to Fiorentina. He made his debut for La Viola on the 27th of August, in the 6-1 thrashing of Chievo Verona in the second round of the 2018-19 Italian Championship, scoring one of the goals and providing an assist. On January 27, he was instrumental in the 4-3 victory over Chievo Verona in the 21st round of Serie A, when he conceded a pass to Chiesa to score Fiorentina's 4th goal. On April 3, Gerson scored one of the goals in the tie with the club that had loaned him, Roma, in the 2-2 draw valid for the 30th round of Serie A. He scored his second goal in the 4-1 victory over Spal, in the 24th round of the Italian Championship. Flamengo 2019. On July 12, 2019, the midfielder was announced by Flamengo as the 7th reinforcement for the 2019 season. The Rio de Janeiro club paid Roma 49.7 million Brazilian reals, which made Gerson the most expensive Brazilian player ever signed by a Brazilian club, and the 3rd most expensive transfer in Brazilian football. Gerson debuted with Flamengo's shirt on July 21, 2019, in the 1-1 draw with Corinthians, valid for the 11th round of the Brazilian Championship. He scored his first goal with the red-black shirt in his 3rd game for the club, in the 3-2 victory over Botafogo, for the 12th round of the Brazilian Championship. After a solid season with Brazilian and Libertadores titles, Gerson was also elected to the Silver Ball selection, along with 7 other teammates. 2020. After a 2-2 draw in the first leg, on February 26, he scored 2 goals in the 3-0 victory over Independiente del Valle, in the second leg, of the Recopa Sul-Americana, becoming champion, with aggregate score of 5-2. In that match, Gerson had a performance worthy of a classic midfielder, contributing to Flamengo's 3rd title in just 1 month in the year 2020. After the good performances with the red-black shirt in the Brazilian Championship, he was nicknamed Coringa by coach Jorge Jesus, due to his tactical ability to act in different sectors. 2021. After a high-level Brazilian championship, Gerson won his second consecutive silver ball, selected for selection as the best defensive midfielder. On April 5, in a match against Madureira valid for the 8th round of Carioca, Gerson had an excellent performance, scoring the second goal of the 5-1 rout and assisting Arrascaeta to close the scoreboard. In the first game of the Libertadores group stage, he assisted Willian Arão to score the first in Flamengo's 3-2 victory over Vélez Sarsfield. On April 27, 2021, in the 4-1 defeat of Union La Calera, valid for the second round of the Libertadores, Gerson reached the mark of 100 games with Flamengo's shirt. In an interview with Lance, Gerson said, "Completing 100 games with Manto Sagrado is yet another dream come true. Not even in my best thoughts did I imagine achieving everything I've been conquering here. I'm happy and fulfilled. Here's to more titles and many more games," Gerson, in an interview with Lance. After the end of the 2021 Carioca Championship, Gerson was selected for the team of the tournament. With his transfer to Marseille being confirmed on June 9, Gerson still had 4 games to play for Flamengo before moving to the French club. On June 16, he contributed an assist to Flamengo's first goal made by Vitinho in the 2-0 victory over Coritiba, in the second leg of the round of 16 of the Copa do Brasil. On June 22, Gerson received a farewell tribute on Flamengo's YouTube channel, in addition to receiving a flag with his face at Maracana, which was made by an organized supporter of the club. His last game for the club was on June 23, the 2-1 victory over Fortaleza, in a game valid for the 6th round of the Brazilian Championship. In all, Gerson played in 109 games with the red-black shirt, scoring 7 goals and granting 10 assists, in addition to winning 8 titles. Olympique de Marseille. On June 4, his transfer to Olympique de Marseille was announced, after almost 1 month of negotiations between the boards of Flamengo and the French club. The value of the transfer was €25 million for 5 years of contract, with the Red Negro keeping a percentage of 15% to 20% in a future sale, having to transfer 10% to Roma, the player's former team. Gerson will go to France to play for Marseille after the Copa America dispute, in the second half of July, with 4 more matches for Flamengo before saying goodbye. With this transfer, Gerson became the 4th biggest sale in the history of Flamengo, behind Rainier, €30 million, Lucas Paqueta, €38 million, and Vinicius Jr., €45 million, respectively. On June 9, the deal was announced and officially completed, with both clubs announcing the transfer on their social media. After arriving in France on June 27, Gerson was officially announced by Marseille on June 1, assuming the number 8 shirt. He made his debut in a preseason friendly against FC Set, from the French 3rd Division. Marseille won 2-1. He scored his first goal in the next match, in a 3-1 friendly victory against Servette, in Switzerland, on July 16. Gerson made his official debut for Marseille on August 8, 2021, in the 3-2 victory over Montpellier, in the first round of Ligue 1. He scored his first goal for the club on the 28th of August, the second in a 3-1 win over Saint-Étienne in the 4th round of Ligue 1. In his first season at Olympique, Gerson played 48 games, with 11 goals and 7 assists, in addition to being French runner-up. 2022-23. During the preparation for the friendly match between Olympique de Marseille and Betis, Gerson and the new coach, Igor Tudor, disagreed and got into a discussion during training due to the coach's methods. However, according to reports, the discussion had no major consequences and was considered as something commonplace in the football environment. Altogether, thinking about the good of Olympique, we continue to work to grow, evolve and have a good season. Conversations are for the growth of work. Let's go together in search of conquests. Brazilian team. Under 20. On the 27th of November 2014, Gerson was called up for the 2015 U20 South American Championship, aged 17. He debuted for the Brazilian U20 team on January 15, 2015, starting in a 2-1 win against Chile, being one of the highlights, assisting Brazil's 2 goals, both scored by Marcos Guilherme. Refusals and problems with the selection. Gerson was involved in some problems during his selection period, starting in 2013, in preparation for the U17 World Cup. According to sources and as quoted by the coach of the national team at the time, Alexander Gallo, Gerson would have asked to be released from the Brazilian U17 team, claiming that his request to leave the team was due to the death of his grandmother. However, there were indications that his attitudes came from guidance from his father and agent, Marcos Antonio. In 2015, another problem. According to Gallo, who also coached the U20 team, Gerson participated in the U20 South American Championship and had been regular, but in the game against Peru on February 4, Gerson claimed to have suffered an injury and asked to leave at 34 minutes of the first half. Gallo also spoke. Gerson told the national team's physiotherapist that he no longer wanted to go to the U20 World Cup, saying he was not interested in staying focused for 40 days because his birthday was on May 20, a period in which he would still be focused and could not celebrate. The last refusal was in 2019, after refusing to be called up for the U23 team after having played in the 2019 Club World Cup for Flamengo in order to take a vacation. After his history of refusing to be called up, speculation cited that Gerson was being boycotted and punished from the following lists of the main team for this type of behavior, something that was later denied by coach Tite. Brazil Olympic. After some refusals and some time away from the Brazilian national team, on May 14, 2021, Gerson was one of those summoned by coach André Jardine for the Olympic selection in the last test period between May 31 and June 8, aiming to dispute of the Tokyo Olympics. 2020 Olympic Games. He was one of the 18 called up by coach André Jardine to represent the Brazilian national team in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, but Gerson was not released by Olympique de Marseille to compete in the competition. Maine. After a good start at Olympique de Marseille, Gerson was called up to the national team for the first time on August 27, 2021, for the matches against Chile, Argentina and Peru, valid for the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, of September, in the 1-0 victory against Chile. He was again called up on September 24, 2021, for 3 of the qualifiers, against Venezuela, Colombia and Uruguay on the 7th, 10th and 14th respectively.